And those of you who were here back in November when we had the public hearing for the annexation on the Sheets property, you know that we had a sign-up sheet if you wanted to speak at the public hearing. And so we decided to keep that in place tonight. If you want to speak, there is a sign-up sheet over here, and if you'd be so kind to sign up. And just to let you all know, we have a draft of a new policy on public hearings and public comments and meetings that we're working on, and we're probably at least a meeting or two away from being able to adopt that. But just to let you know that we are working on a new public hearing policy. Hope we'll have something for you to take a look at real soon. But if you are interested at all in speaking, if you could sign up over there. But in the meantime, I'll call the meeting to order. And we've got 4 items on the consent agenda. That's to approve the meeting minutes from the May 19th meeting, and to approve our 25-26 year budget amendment, and then a couple things involving our partnership with code enforcement, and then to allow Brad to invest some of our monies in some investments that best meet the town's needs. So, any questions or comments about the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I hear a motion that we approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. Second item of business is the public hearing to receive citizen comment on our 26-27 budget ordinance, which will go into effect July 1st. Do I hear a motion that we open the public hearing?
So moved.
Okay. Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Did anybody sign up? Okay. All right. So we don't have, our town attorney's not here tonight. So if there's no speakers, then
Yeah, if there's nobody who's coming, you can close it after that.
okay. So do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And now is appropriate to vote on.
Yeah, if y'all want to talk about it or.
All right. Do I hear a motion that we approve our fiscal year 26-27 budget ordinance?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The park. We have, Brad, you want to just kind of give everybody an update on?
Yes, so the last couple months, we've been kind of going back and forth internally, and discussing about kind of the next steps and how to proceed. So kind of where we are now is trying to ultimately determine, do you move forward with the next phase, which is essentially one phase that's broken out into 2 parts. It is a design development and a construction document phase. So this would essentially take the site plan that has been designed to date and basically take that and specialize each individual piece. So the multi-purpose building, it would be designed. So you pick out the brick, you pick out the interior. So you basically get down into the features of what each component of that site would look like. So that's ultimately kind of where we are and trying to determine if the council wants to move forward with that next step.
Okay. Any questions that you all have about, most all of you have been to numerous meetings and probably have a feel for what we're doing. Yes, sir.
I went down to the park from the last meeting. That lady was talking about the situation with the lighting and all that. Are you still gonna be able to drive through there, or y'all planning on blocking that off, or how is that?
No, so what the intent would be to connect both of those, to loop that around. So a lot of what you see now that where it transitions from asphalt to gravel, it would all be asphalt.
that's the first time I actually went around through there. Yeah. I didn't realize that neighborhood was back there, always went back out.
Right, right.
I think you probably already said this, but you know I forgot. Is there a tentative date of completion? My time might be limited, I'd like to see this.
It's incentive to stay here. See, if we give you a date certain, okay, you just, who knows? I mean, right? No.
I think we need to get her a hard hat, she can go down there and check on the
I'll take it.
I bet she'd go down there and whip them in shape.
May you live a long life.
No, Brad, what would you?
Yeah, so if it's ultimately decided to move forward with this phase here, it's about 6 to 8 months for them to go through and spec out the rest or the whole site. So then once we get to that point and the council's finalized and approved everything as far as every detail that will be designed in this next phase, the build out, I think they said would be possibly 16 to 18 months. So you're looking at maybe 2 years from.
Back up a little bit.
But possibly. I mean, it could go quicker, but I think that is an anticipated 2 years if it was started, say, tonight.
Well, I think, again, we've talked about this in our meetings, is that I think July 6th, which we're coming up on a year that we had the storm and the flood, which really led us to put the brakes on what we had designed in terms of trying to get things out of that floodplain down there. And I'd like to tell you that none of us will be living here the next time we have a flood like that. But you know, we had a comparable flood here in the early 90s. So I mean, it was, you know, 34 years ago. I can't remember the exact, but that ballpark flooded then. So that was, you know, a little over 30 years ago. So again, I think that it caused us to rethink things, because we just don't want to build something down there that gets destroyed when we have the next 100-year flood. So. Any questions from the council about moving to the next phase? Then I'll entertain a motion that we go ahead and approve moving to the next step in that process, and to engage Bob to move forward with the, what you call them, design documents, construction documents.
Yes. So moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. John, how are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Better than I deserve, thank you. You got the report tonight?
I do. So for your engineering updates, the water main project is basically completed. We have a final walkthrough tomorrow with the state grant office that is passing along funds managing the project on that end. So once that's complete, that'll completely finalize the project. There should be one more application for payment the contractor will submit after tomorrow, finalize all the quantities and get that squared away. We're continuing with our taking the GPS coordinates and survey points for the water meters throughout town. That way the water meter inventory will be built. So people in the future, if there's a problem with a specific water meter, we can pull it up and say, hey, this is where it's at in their yard, and go to it that way. And then the water and sewer AIA projects, those are getting wrapped up. The water has primarily been done, just a few tweaks. And we're also, knowing that the water meter project's coming in, we couldn't wrap that in with the same funding, but we are trying to include the data from that project so it's a complete package together. And that's the engineering updates I have.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions? Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Brad, your update.
The only other thing I got is DEQ has completed their review of the mill site. So one of the next things in order to erosion, and construction and a number of other things. So in order to be able to have that plan created, there needs to be a site plan that is approved. So over the next week or two, please review the, site plan that has been provided, and then we can get any feedback, get back with Ally Williams, make any adjustments, and then get some feedback from the community as well, in hopes to be able to get that approved, and then start working along, to be able to get that plan created, keep that project rolling as well.
Any questions or comments? Okay. Public comments.
The road was nice out there.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does.
Any,
Okay, I do have one question. I noticed where they tore down the former aqua landscape.
Yeah,
house and
mhm.
sheets, so are they gonna actually start breaking ground in that anytime soon, or this was just the beginning phase of doing that, or is there a start date to actually start with the sheets?
have you heard anything on?
They've not provided us a start date. They did let us know, they reached out about the removal, several months back, or probably 2 months back. They're still working through some things as far as the signage and a number of other things. So I would suspect that probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks, you may see them out there actually starting construction.
Really? Okay, yeah, pretty quick.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Yes, ma'am.
I know in some areas they're like doing water limits and stuff with the drought, and there's like Duke has been talking about limited power. Is that something, have y'all heard chatter about that happening in this area? Cause I just wanna know if that's something to be on the lookout for.
Well, we buy our water from Graham, and have you, I know this came up at the last meeting, and of course it's gotten worse, if anything, you're exactly right.
We've not heard anything from them.
Alright.
Is Alabama under any restrictions right now, or because I know Carmen's was stage 2 rule number, and I haven't heard anything about Alabama, so as far as I know, it's anything goes here so far.
Haven't heard anything, Eric, and I think it's a tribute to the foresight of the people in this county, the J.D. McIntoshes and things, that they wanted to make sure that this area has adequate water. And that's not to say a drought like this doesn't affect everybody, but I think we're benefiting from the foresight that a lot of the community leaders had in Burlington and Graham and Mebane to make sure that we had a great adequate water supply, for sure. So,
I know Duke Energy has also, some of you may, some of you may not have, if you look out near your power box outside your house, Duke has put little black boxes in some areas for people that agreed for a discounted rate. They're like limiters that they put on there. And if you're pulling too much, it can cut you off. I had a friend that he didn't know what had happened. He said, my air quit working. So he called his heat and air people, and that's what they told him. They said, go out there and look, see if you got one of those little black boxes out there. And he did. A little
Yeah,
while.
I say yes.
It stayed off for a little while, and then later on, it come back on.
And if you have certain models of thermostats, they can actually control your thermostat. They'll move it up 2 degrees, and like if you have it set up, you'll get text messages the day that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I get them at this point almost every day. At this point, that it's normally between 5 and 7 that they call it a rush hour. They're normally like between 5 and 7. There's going to be a rush hour, and it can actually lower your temperature to prepare for the rush hour, so that it pre-cools, gets it 1 or 2 degrees cooler before 5 o'clock, and then bump it up 2 or 3 degrees higher.
Mine won't keep up with my stuff upstairs anyway. It don't matter what I say to that.
Some days it's been like that.
75.
amen, amen.
Well, do you have to ask for one of those little black boxes?
Yes, it's out of the program.
But they give you a bill credit, every, I think it's for 6 months during, like, the 6 months of like late spring, summer, they give you a bill credit in order to let them do that. And your electric bill should also be less.
And you received this offer in writing?
I mean, yeah, it's on the website and you register online.
Well, what if you don't go online to look for something, you don't know it's there?
I mean, you could probably call Duke Energy and ask them about it, and they could, if you wanted it, they could add it, and if you didn't want it and had it, you know, from a previous homeowner or something, they could turn it off. It's entirely voluntary.
Actually, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
yeah, it's entirely voluntary.
Thank y'all, that's all good to know.
Oh, thank you, that's a good question. I just hope that we're gonna get some rain, although the forecast doesn't seem to be all that promising. Friday, so. Was there any business the council wants to bring before the meeting tonight? If not, then do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
All right.
Okay. Stay cool.